7-0 last week, I think we wrote Manchester United out of the title conversation.
Yeah.
Now with 1 point from the last two, we have to put them into, they probably will finish top four, but that's even squeezing up a little bit, isn't it?
It's just getting a little bit touch and go, isn't it? Yeah. Because they had that run of amazing results and Marcus Rashford scoring every week and everything was rosy. Now there's a little bit of a blip. Great result for Southampton, that, by the way, I've got to say. An amazing result, amazing performance. But yes, it's a top four conversation now. It's hard to say, but it's a top four conversation.
I mean, Southampton, they continue to throw in these performances and results. They won at Chelsea not that long ago. They play like that. In fact, they'll probably feel in many ways they should have won that.
Yeah, I think they will. I mean, when I look at the bottom of the Premier League, there's so many teams in it. And Southampton, for some reason, I've just got a funny feeling I think they can get out of it. They got a great result away at Chelsea last week. They were plucky at Manchester United this week. And I don't know, I just think the energy of the new manager, Ruben Sellers, might just guide them out of the predicament they're in.
Right, we're going to talk about Casemiro and the impact of a 4-game ban. This time, our friend Chris Foy is with us. Chris, good evening. How do you feel that this was handled, and you're happy that they got to the right decision to upgrade the yellow card to the red on Casemiro?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's an excellent piece of VAR, and that's the reason it was brought in. I mean, when you look at the challenge, Andy Taylor, he's in very close proximity to the referee and feels as though the challenge was reckless and issued a yellow card. But obviously, it was checked by Andre Mariner, who's the VAR. And I think when you see it, albeit he does skim the ball, it's a dangerous challenge. It does skim the ball, as I previously mentioned. It catches him high on the shin. That's well worthy of a red card for serious foul play.
I think you would agree with that. That is clearly endangering the safety of an opponent, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a red card. You know, the bottom line is it's a red card. And I've seen it so many times. There's another step for Casemiro. There's another 2 steps to get to the ball. Instead of lunging, get to the ball on your feet, and there's a block tackle to be had, and that's it. And what did you say to me about the ball?
The ball's coming towards him, so he's got a little bit more time. He just seems to lunge, gets the timing just slightly wrong. He does get the ball to begin with, but bounces up, and I don't think anyone's got any complaints about that, have they?
Exactly.
So that's his second red card of the season. Because it's his second red, means it's an extra game. So it's a 4-game ban, not a 3-game ban. Interesting was at Real Madrid. He was sent off twice, on both occasions for 2 yellow cards. I think that would say something about maybe the speed of our game compared to what happens in Spain. What do you make of that? Fulham, Newcastle, Brentford and Everton. Well, it's the game at Newcastle. We're going to see Newcastle in a second. That, particularly when it comes to the top 4, is a very big miss for United at St James's Park.
Well, I think you can look at all the games. Fulham are plucky. Brentford have had a brilliant season. They're not scared of anyone wherever they play. And Everton are fighting for their lives. So when it comes to this end of the season, regardless of they're playing the top 4, whether in the bottom 4, there's always something to play for. So I think it's going to be difficult, especially with their catalyst, Casemiro.
Yeah, I just think he's made such a difference. Having seen Man United a lot this season, it's that players are looking for him now. They're looking to give him the ball to make things happen, and he plays those passes that not a lot of other players, not even Bruno, plays the passes that he tries. And what he does do well is that if he tries a pass, if it doesn't work 3 or 4 times, he'll still try to play a dangerous pass. He's very confident, and that miss is going to be huge for United.
So maybe if there's sort of a general agreement on the Casemiro red card. Chris, back to you. 2 penalty shouts for Manchester United. The first one in particular, Manchester United very unhappy that they didn't get a handball in this situation. What's your ruling and your verdict on this one?
Yeah, I looked at this earlier on, and I think what you'll see when the ball's played, I think it's Bella Kotchap, it hits him on the chest. It deflects off his chest onto his arm, and then he tries to pull his arm away. That's not a penalty. That's certainly not handball. And, you know, we know that the VAR is going to check these incidents. And quite clearly it was cleared. I mean, he lunges forward, it hits him on the chest, deflects to his arm. That's not a penalty.
So it's because it hits his chest, you're accepting it hit his arm, but you're saying because it hit his chest first and he slipped, that's why it's not a penalty.
Yeah, and I mean, even if he hadn't pulled his arm away and his arm was on the ground and it hits his chest and then hits his arm, it's where you would expect his arm to be. I just don't see how you could award a penalty for that. It's where you would expect his arm to be, and it was quite rightly a penalty wasn't given.
There's a big grin on your face. What does that say?
Because I can't understand how you can't give a penalty for it. I don't know what Balakocha's doing in that position to begin with. I mean, that's the first conversation. But for me, I think that's a penalty. There's a Manchester United player right behind him. Will find his feet. And it's just awkward, it's clumsy, it's bad defending, it's clearly come off his arm. For me, I'm going
Yeah, but as
against...
Chris is saying, it hits his chest first.
I think from this angle, that's debatable as well. As we see it coming in here, does it hit his chest first? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it hit his wrist first. But listen, this is the problem. It's so difficult.
This is the subjective nature of it, isn't it?
I think, I think it's always going to be a pen. I think the referee has to give that as a penalty. In my opinion, he has to give it as a penalty. However, he's trying to pull his arm away, but he's not got his arm away in time. He's falling over. He's trying to pull his arm away, granted. However, if it's hit his hand and it's stopped it going to a Man United player, it's...
But do you accept that if it's not given in real time on field, that it's unlikely to be given by VAR because of our friend Clear and Obvious, an error?
Again, you know, another grey area. It's just cloudy, isn't it? People have got different opinions. They have.
No, I don't think any of us like Clear and Obvious.
No,
we're quite happy we've never heard those words ever again.
Correct, yes. Correct. It's a tough one, that. It's a real tough one, but, you know... I think